Ladies and gentlemen of the internet, welcome back to the Deplorable Batcave podcast. We've got our returning group of shit posters and shit lords today. So, give it up or shut it down, whichever case may be, for Blibbity Blop,
Howdy ho.
Seawalt,
Howdy, y'all.
AK-47 Your Face,
Good evening, folks.
and Beggar Hero.
What's up, G?
And joining us in the peanut gallery is Gimpy. As per the usual, he is silent and very, very deadly with his meme bombs. So, we keep him around anyway. So, gentlemen, we have topics. First, we're going to talk about the big one that just happened. Razorfist coined this so beautifully, and I just feel the need to use it. We're going to talk about the prostate of the Union, because God knows there's been nothing but ass blasting ever since the event started.
I would like to tell you, gentlemen, what mindset I was in at the time. I was sitting outdoors with a nice warm fire, with a big screen TV, smoking a cigar, and drinking whiskey, like every American should have during that event.
I was at work, so there was no way I was going to be able to watch it.
I watched the whole thing beginning to end, and make me proud to be American.
Were you tired at the end of it?
No, I was more energized than ever.
High energy.
Very high energy.
More,
the Democrats, who looked
Where-
like they were sucking on Sour Patch Kids and lemons the entire night.
Well, I don't think Sour Patch Kids and Lemons are what Joe Kennedy was sucking on.
Oh.
I would like to. I mean, it is. This sort of thing is very petty, but at the same time, when you have essentially the entire party that has been given orders not to participate in any positive way, it reflects very badly on them.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember who it was. One of the Dems got up to applaud and then he quickly sat back down again, as if he got whipped on the back.
It was in Razorfist's video.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. That was.
And I mean, you saw Chuck Schumer just look over at him.
Yes, it was just.
The Chuck Schumer death stare.
That's
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Want to die?
Actually, I think he looked more like the Penguin from the old Batman show with Adam West.
that was that, and just the whole sucking lemon thing. Yeah.
I mean, my God. I mean, Pelosi's face looked like it was melting off.
Oh yeah.
And she was also chewing dem dentures, something fierce.
You can go to the bank that Trump wasn't going to ever give the prostate call, but he did.
Well,
And-
you guys know that sound they make when you're about to get a prostate exam. You know, the little sound with the gloves.
Mm-hmm.
That was the sound Trump made when he entered.
And you're gonna love it.
And he forgot to take off his very large class ring on his index finger.
Well, when you say glove, he actually put on a boxing glove.
I mean, look, Trump's speech was very positive, very unifying in its message, and it raked the Dems over the coals because Trump is deciding their policies for them, which is they hate Trump. So he can say whatever he wants and he can win the center over because everyone's like, oh, Trump's going to lose his base. Trump will only lose his base if he actually signs something that his base hates. Him just
Dude,
talking about his...
he pulled a DNC maneuver. He got half a North Korean to turn up. Like, they get disabled kids. He gets torture victims.
He gets actual heroes. He gets actual heroes.
The man who basically limped across China to get out.
China!
I'm sorry, that man is a living badass. And the fact that he brought the crutches, and you could see the pride and happiness and just defiance on that man's face while he held those up. That was a middle finger right up Kim Jong-un's tiny little butthole.
And to every Democrat in the House.
I mean, okay, I didn't watch it, but apparently from what I'm hearing, Democrats started booing angel families?
They were booing on chain migration, I believe.
Yeah. Look, they were booing on shit, but it's hard to say what it was. All I know is that they were very salty.
Where are those German news networks when you need them to amplify the booing?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was...
Well, go ahead, Spark.
Well, no, I was just commenting. Yeah, that was a thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found it, what I found really interesting, and then this is what I realized while I was listening to another podcast, that Trump constantly threw the ball in the Democrats' court, and they constantly fumbled it. And you guys are right. Like the fact that they staunchly sat there with stony faces, it did not help them out well. And with the midterms coming up and how they reacted during the State of the Union address, this could reflect very poorly on them. With the way the midterms are, and especially with the government shutdown coming out once again, if they can't find a compromise on the DACA situation, that the Dems are about to get killed.
Not only that, but whatever's in this memo, it sounds serious.
Exactly.
Republicans aren't stupid enough to hype something like this unless there's something there.
Agreed. And this is all setting up to be a big sweep of the rug for the Democratic Party. They will probably lose a lot of seats come in the midterms, and that means the Republicans can do whatever the hell they want.
Well, I mean, if the Republicans can get over 60 seats in the Senate, the Democrats become irrelevant. If they get a couple of Democrats, like about 6 or 7 of them, to side with the Republicans, Trump can do amendments.
Yeah, that too, and it's not just that. With the hello. Oh, hey,
you're having some trouble. Okay, welcome.
Hello. But as I was saying, with the seats that were coming up, they did a polling after this past government shutdown, and I think a substantial number of people blame both sides for it. But the thing is that the seats that are going to be contested during this midterms is the Democrats are a lot more hot water than the Republicans. And if they just start swapping seats between whatever district is contested, that means the Republicans gain I think over 10 seats or something like that.
At which point that's game over.
That's game over.
Well, I think the more issue would be those for pro-amnesty versus anti-amnesty. That's probably the issue here.
But look what's happened over the course of the last week.
I've never, to be honest, granted I wasn't overly political. I've only started keeping my eye on politics over the last few years. I have never seen politics move this fast.
It's insane.
Yeah, no kidding.
And given how effectively Trump did a Jerusalem for the Palestinians approach, they were always going to refuse, no matter how much he offered.
Yeah. Unless he literally offered blanket, immediate citizenship amnesty with no wall. If he offered that, they would accept it. But, yeah.
It was. But even then, he reiterated his deal, which was turned down before the State of the Union address. That 1.8 million. That stuff was initially turned down by the Democrats before that speech had even occurred.
Which that was generous as fuck.
It was generous, but again, it paints the Democrats in a bad light. It makes them seem like they got too stingy. The center people will be saying, "Why didn't you make a compromise?" And then the far left will be saying, "Why aren't you doing anything about this? Why aren't you getting a deal made?" So it's pretty much it's ripping them apart.
Yeah, and Cyril, I owe you an apology. This is something you predicted about a week and a half ago.
And that is?
Yeah, and I was quite concerned that Trump was giving in and conceding too much.
No, he's using a standard. He's using a very standard negotiating tactic. If you know if the guy won't accept it, you make an offer that looks good to try and get other people to give you offers.
If you read The Art of the Deal, you understand Trump's whole negotiation strategy. It's basically what's been happening. That's how I felt about it whenever I thought he was cucking on DACA the first time. That's how I felt whenever he fired those missiles over Syria. It's a lot of political smoke and mirrors that are that are meant to appease.
It's just like Scaramucci the Mooch. He was a political flashbang grenade. Trump threw him in there. He knew he was going to get shit canned quickly to distract. He needed cover for something. I don't know what, but he was doing something in the background. Maybe he was working on taxes. Who knows?
There's just a lot going on.
Well, can I ask you guys something? Obviously, I'm the Johnny Foreigner here, so my understanding of American politics is not going to be as grounded as the rest of you. But from what I can see, the popular opinion of Dems is going down the toilet.
Approval ratings growing up.
Yeah, but entirely their own actions. So, what was the last major clincher that they had was Alabama. And we saw what a shit show that was.
It was a fucking miracle, is what it was.
No, the only reason that was
remember with Alabama, they I think outspent him by like 3 or 4 times. They had a pedophilia argument, and they still only won by a pretty slim margin of about 1%.
Right,
and not just that is Alabama has a voting law where people from out of state can go vote.
Exactly, where people openly admitted that. So that's my point. So if even in that regard, which they were. My God, they were loud. Oh, this is our comeback. This is our comeback.
Yeah.
If that merely clinched them, the deal by a hair's breadth, this is only going to cement their grave.
Mm-hmm. They can't pull another scandal like they did with the.
Again, I know it's very petty ordinarily, but if your entire party has been given strict orders to behave in such a petulant and self-defeating manner. How on earth do they expect to do well from this point?
Well, it's not just that. It's not. It is a. They're starting to fracture from the inside as well. They're going to get torn apart because you have some representative named Gutierrez or something like that. He's looking for the pro-Hispanic vote. He's looking along the racial lines, and people along those lines are going to end up breaking off or fracturing the Democratic Party because they realize if Trump gets his way, that means they've lost their entire voting bloc. The Democratic Party has framed itself as the quote-unquote minority party. And again, if they lose their voting base, then it's all over.
Well, that's the thing. Trump just needs to import a few more Korean torture victims.
Well, look.
You always get the guy's other half.
Look, this kind of ties into this a little bit. I know it's kind of jumping ship to a top word number later, but really quickly. There's also that memo hanging over their heads, and there are apparently multiple congressmen saying in this memo it contains information that shows that the entire Russia investigation...
We'll get to that soon.
Okay, moving on.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to find it again, god damn it, because there was a Trump quote from the RNC that just was like, it was just utterly nailed. I'm trying to find it again.
Yeah.
Because it was the most utterly amazing summation of the entire left's platform right now.
I just can't get over the fact that the Congressional Black Caucus wouldn't stand to the, to the sounds of, black unemployment's at an all-time low.
Ison, wasn't it a Boondocks episode?
I feel like it was.
You go watch the Boondocks, and a lot of the shit that you see today, it was kind of framed by that.
I'm waiting for when they revive Martin Luther King Jr. And then Ann Coulter turns out to lie.
Yep.
Surprising, actually, not that many people.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Anything else to add to the State of the Union address while Spot finds the quote?
Don't forget, people who survive from North Korea are fucking monsters who don't deserve your attention.
Wow. Only the half that's loyal to the North and stayed behind. Becca, anything to add?
I think the only thing I have to say is just, I mean, it sort of seems like the Democrats just got really fucking petty.
Yeah, it's not a good look for them.
Well, yeah, and they're always portrayed as the party that we think of the common good and the intellectual party.
I just went. It was a good speech. It was a good speech. I liked it. It was solid. Again, people say that it was boring, but I think it was a lot of against stuff that needed to be reiterated and what people need to hear.
Hell, even Paul Ryan behaved himself.
I think he's starting to fall more into line because he can see which way the wind is blowing.
I think it's because Pence had a taser on his balls.
Well, it's not like Ryan. Like, I hate Paul Ryan. Don't get me wrong, and I hate Mitch McConnell even more. But they've been willing to work with Trump. The only difference is that they've been waiting for Trump to say stuff, to have an actual solid opinion on what he wants out of any negotiations. Because he's a pancake on a lot of issues. He likes to flip flop on particular keys in, say, the negotiations for immigration. Like, oh, I'm okay with DACA, or I'm not.
It's not flip flopping. It's a framing tactic. It is a bait and switch. It's been
okay. So the bait and switch is to offer something and then turn around and say, no, wait, never mind, we aren't, say, oh, this is something we won't negotiate on here.
He keeps offering things that the Democrats are going to refuse anyway.
Yeah, no, here's the thing.
He's playing to the
offering
center.
Things that Democrats want, and he's saying, but not in a way that's meaningful. He's saying, yeah, no, we could have a separate, clean DACA bill. He's actually straight up said he would support that, and then turns around and said he didn't because someone from the, a representative, I don't remember his name because he's an unimportant representative.
He said his clean DACA bill would include the wall and the end of chain migration.
No, that was something he ad-libbed when he realized, oh, fuck, I just said something wrong. Because, look, I'll give Trump a lot of credit. He's good at a lot at this social stuff, these public events. He's not actually that good at policy. Let's be honest, guys. He's not that. When it comes to policy, he's not the best on this, and that's why he needs to get a lot more help from an advising team who perhaps are people he can trust that can tell him what he actually wants.
Can you give examples with regards to policy?
I was going to say, if you're talking about
he talked about clean DACA bill and then immediately turned back on it. It's like, wait. Someone just told me that's bad, so we shouldn't do that.
Okay, because my understanding of this entire example has been enticing the Dems with something he knew that they would never fully agree to.
They were the ones who proposed a clean DACA bill.
No, but they were never going to agree.
No. I'm going to tell you this right now, Blip. Is that what you're saying is, okay, Dems come forward like, all right, we want $20. He offers them $20. And then they're like, we don't want $20.
Yeah,
we want
it's exactly
$5.
what happened. It's exactly what
That's
happened.
not what happened. No,
it is exactly
he
what
turned a dime on it before any actual proper negotiations happened.
The Democrats' definition of a clean DACA bill was not Trump's definition of
and that's because Trump. No. A clean bill. No, that's the thing you misunderstand. This is all stuff discussed within public policy. This is basic education and history and political science. What you learn about a clean bill is one that doesn't have any pork or have anything else that's been attached to it. Essentially, a clean bill is exactly what it sounds like. What it says. Nothing more. No pork, no caveats, no but, no, nothing, no ifs, ands, or buts. What they want. If he says he wants a clean DACA bill, he says he wants a clean DACA bill, then realizes, wait, I'm an idiot. That's not actually what I want. Or he just doesn't realize that he has to actually negotiate these issues instead of just giving it to them. I don't understand it, honestly.
Or it could be like, I'll give you a clean DACA bill and like I'll write out the bill or sign the bill and then we discuss the wall negotiations.
No, never in that situation because the Dems will just block that. You have to tie DACA to that. Look, I'll freely admit that if that's the case, Trump made a flub there, but he has recovered quite well. People make mistakes.
He's recovered it. No. His strength is his public imaging. His ability to use these big display events to win people over and then run with anything he actually passes through, those are his strengths. His weakness is obviously where it truly is. It's on policy. He's not a politician. He is a businessman. This is his first seat in political office, and don't get me wrong, I at the end support of the guy because ultimately we need something that breaks up the mold here. But there's a point where you have to stop looking at it as planning and start realize that it's actually incompetence. And he's not really doing 40 underwater super chess here with the combined Dragon Ball Z fusion of him and Stephen Hawking.
No. It's with several more orders of magnitude. The thing is, though, Ison, is that he must have known that they were going to refuse this because the numbers kept growing.
No, they almost wanted to accept it, and then he walked it back. They were about to accept because that's what they wanted. That's what they said they wanted.
Okay. Maybe I misunderstood this.
underwater chess.
Guys, maybe I misunderstood this. But the numbers that they were approached on when it was dug in a bit deeper. So what is the actual limit? It was, again, maybe
800,000 roughly.
It was never about the numbers. It's limitless, according to them. They don't want a limit.
Yeah.
And he must have known that.
Okay, a limitless DACA? I'm sorry, that's not how that works. I don't think you understand.
I said,
limitless
I
DACA,
said you're dealing with
are two
Democrats.
separate
They
things.
have maybe 2 brain cells for the entire party to rub together.
No, dude, you misunderstand. These people are actual experts at this type of policy bullshit. We shouldn't treat them with all right. If you're going to underestimate them, that's your fault. I'm not going to make the mistake of underestimating the Democrats here, because the Democrats are the same people who gave us Obamacare, for fuck's sake. They managed to swindle the American people into not only getting enough people in both chambers of Congress and the presidency to get a hold of it.
Whoa! Hold on there. The Democrats didn't give us anything. They thought of it, but Obama had to sign it via an executive order for it to be done. It was stopped completely through Congress. That was completely overridden. That was
Obamacare was completely overwritten.
That was completely overridden by the powers by the president. Congress said no. Obama said yes. That was bullshit.
And also, the
Democrats
Democrats...
vote.
And the Democrats
He
also...
merely enforced aspects of it that got pulled back.
Yeah.
He finalized. Don't get me wrong, it was scummy of him to do so, but the problem is that legislatively, the Democrats swindled the American people into doing that. Not only that, but every single day, and this is the retarded part, it's getting more and more popular. And as someone whose medical insurance bills have gone up because of Obamacare, I for one want to say, fuck off.
Well, luckily, Trump has kind of put a death nail into it, which should kill it almost completely, which is the removal of the mandate.
Okay, that is his framing. All right, here's the thing. I'm gonna say this. You've been schlumped by the Trump. This isn't a nail in the coffin. This isn't the core issue he says it was. That was merely him trying to win brownie points. The actual core issue of the Affordable Care Act is the Affordable Care Act itself. The very legislation that was put into place that has resulted in the development of a pseudo-socialized medical system here in the United States. That's what we need to get rid of.
I know, but the issue with that is with the way things are currently in Congress, Democrats will fight him tooth and nail. If the Democrats currently, with them constantly stepping in the shit that they've been stepping in, get killed in the midterms, it won't matter. The Republicans can do whatever the hell they want, and Trump can have free reign.
They're not going to kill in the midterms. The Democrats are actually going to gain seats. That's honestly... Okay. Be hopeful all you
stop
want,
sucking
guys.
off Ben Shapiro,
You want to know what the truth is? The truth is that in all of history, all of American history, what you've seen is whenever you have a party that owns the presidency or a dominant party in general, they will always lose seats in the midterm. Whoever owns the presidency is losing seats in the midterm. That has, in only rare circumstances, ever been proven wrong. And I am not going to say this is one of them, because as far as actual public polling goes, and I'm talking Reuters, not, just looking at Reuters, forget everything else. Everything else you can call biased. Reuters tends to be very neutral on this stuff. You look at that, you see what's happening, they're probably going to lose the House. Probably not going to lose the Senate, I'll be honest, but they're probably going to lose the House.
Didn't Reuters predict that Trump would have lost to Hillary Clinton? Oh, wait. They're just as biased as the rest of them. It's just you haven't realized it yet.
No. Again, these are the same people who have correctly in many other instances reported the data. And you know what the data is? I'm going to pull the card I don't want to pull, but he lost the popular vote for a reason. If they pulled in any way that was in favor of those areas, what happens is the legitimacy. Look,
guys, we are veering.
Yeah.
We're probably not going to lose as many seats as we would have a month ago because of the tax reform and State of the Union.
Guys, we are veering off the topic. Spark, do you want to bring up the next one? It kind of leads on from what we have been discussing before.
True, but before that, I did find the quote.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the Trump quote is, the name is resist. That's the name of their movement. Resist. That's all they do is resist. I don't know if they're good at it. They can't be too good at it because we're passing a lot of things. So I wouldn't say the resistance is extremely successful. So there's the quote. The next topic we have for discussion, gentlemen, is the memo itself and the fallout coming from it.
It's not a memo. It's a dossier.
Again, I think that
there's
this
a difference, but whatever.
It was a joke, but again, it's the whatever's going to be said in the 4-page document. Again, it's not gonna bode well for the Democrats.
Why is
We're
it?
trying really hard to not
Look,
have it released.
one of the things that I find fascinating about the stuff regarding the memo, the CEO of the DNC, the guy who basically is the money man that keeps the DNC chugging along, he mysteriously resigned.
McCabe?
No, McCabe is FBI.
FBI.
Yeah, but
DNC
he was FBI. I was like,
CEO, the guy who keeps the books for the DNC, resigned same day or within 24 hours of the memo getting the go-ahead for a release from Congress.
Okay. I was thinking of
That's bizarre. McCabe, the day after having a meeting with the head of the FBI, suddenly says he's resigning.
Mm-hmm.
There are petty little tactics the Democrats are trying to use to keep this thing from being released by saying, oh, we need to redo grammar in it. They were using that argument to try and stop it.
They were saying he edited it. They said he edited it, and it was because he said he edited it for grammar mistakes, and possibly a couple things that the Democrats and the FBI asked him to do, or asked him to do something with.
And Schumer's still insisting that Devin Nunes be removed
from the head of the Intel Committee.
The Intelligence Committee.
Yeah. This is not something you do if you think you can beat this.
Yeah.
This is something you do when you know there's something in there. Something nasty.
I honestly am buying the idea that this memo is basically everything Trump said is going to be proven right. Judging by the way everyone's just freaking out about this thing, there's almost nothing else it could be.
Yeah, I think it's just going to show more or less Obama's legacy halfway through.
No, it's going to show that we had a criminal running this country for 8 years.
With a criminal party backing him.
Yeah.
You sound like a racist.
You know what?
Fuck
sure
it.
thing. Fuck it. Yeah,
Yep,
it.
whatever. Look,
Nah.
we know at least one thing that's in the memo is that they completely botched the Hillary Clinton investigation. That's enough to do some serious damage.
I wouldn't say botching sounds like they messed it up. No, they let her slide by. They gave her a pass.
Yeah,
They
on
intentionally
very
did that.
serious things. I mean, I don't know if double jeopardy applies in this case or they can reopen it. But with some of the stuff, it might force the FBI to clean house and then
here's the
reopen.
question. Does double jeopardy apply when there was no trial?
Well, no charges were ever filed, so no.
So double jeopardy does not apply.
Not in this case. But if evidence has been destroyed.
Like those text messages attempted to.
Ison?
My thoughts are honestly taking a step back. All of this is because the FISA system was abused, and meanwhile, I'm gonna again. I hate being that guy, but I have to be that guy. They made the FISA system much worse under the new administration. Made it much worse. This is the same shit that got abused that resulted in half the problems we're seeing now involving.
Well, Trump hasn't confirmed FISA yet. It hasn't.
No, no. There have been changes made that are going to make it a lot worse. He signed the reauthorization into law on January 19th.
No, he signed
He
did not sign FISA. He signed a different, entirely separate system. He specifically made that clear.
Yeah, a reauthorization of FISA. That's an
not
amendment
FISA.
system. It's the amendment system that he. It is.
It
not actually
FISA.
is.
It is not FISA. Can it be abused?
He
Yeah,
signed
but
702. How can you say he didn't sign 702?
Point me where he signed 702.
Yeah, no, it's not the same FISA law, but it's the updated variation of the FISA law that is much worse and much easier to abuse. I don't know why he did it.
Has you been a loophole? Not sure. I haven't heard about this signed law into place, so I can't.
Okay, when you sign in something that reauthorizes and updates something in some way, it is still essentially the same. It is the same thing. It's just a new variation of it. When he said it wasn't saying, again, it's just him using It's just him using words, dude. It doesn't mean that it's actually what he says it is.
Beggar?
Yeah, I'm just searching it up right now, and it sort of seems like that way. But I think Ison Point makes a sound point, just being that guy.
Look, what can be done can be undone.
I was like, from now, every time I try to lean, I lean one way, and possibly, Kippy said something. I'm trying to read it. Super chat, show messages. The House of Representatives passed legislation reauthorizing the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, which is a key tool of the U.S. intelligence community, despite President Donald Trump's tweeted criticism of the government's surveillance program.
Here's the thing. His administration had been literally tweeted out in support. I remember this. He tweeted out in support of it. Correction. He tweeted out against him, but his administration had already been in support of it, so he had to walk it back and say, wait, no, actually, we like this. This is another example of his policy contradictions. By the way, it's actually a really good example.
What can be done can be undone, Ison.
Yes, but no, actually, you're wrong because there's nothing closer to everlasting life than a government welfare program. You want to know who said that?
With the amount of political toxicity, surrounding FISA, you think there's not going to be an emergency vote to suspend its operations?
The government programs are really hard to kill. That's all I'm going to say. They're very, very hard to kill. And again, the guy who I just, stole a quote from wholesale, you all know and love him. His name is Ronald Reagan.
Yeah. It's, every time I make a knee-jerk reaction, and it always plays out opposite. Again, it's the same thing would happen with this, possibly with this DACA situation, same thing would happen with Syria, so on and so forth. It just never plays out from what we are initially led to believe. It's always an initial reaction, and then and then it just I don't know. It always feels like there's more playing on in the background than what even most political pundits can see. We have to do a lot of speculation.
It's because Trump's advisors can't get to him before he makes decisions half the time. That's why a lot of this stuff can seem contradictory.
I'll always respect Reagan because at least he made it to white heaven.
Yeah. Blip, you don't even get to go there.
Yeah, sorry, Blip.
All right, so
I'll be Flip with it.
So we got anything else on the memo itself? And it's not really about the memo. It's more about the fallout and reactions.
Yeah, I did get cut off earlier. I don't know if we mentioned it or not, but a couple representatives today came out saying that in the memo it contains information that apparently shows that the entire Russia probe was based off of quote unquote rotten and illicit evidence or something like that.
And again, most of us sitting in this call, we pretty much pieced that together a long time ago. But again, we had to think about the normies or the day-to-day people that don't always keep an eye, as close of an eye on this as maybe even what we do. So this could be a big deal for the average voter.
Well, the problem being, I don't think it will be. I mean, for the fence sitters and the independents, yes.
Well, it's not about fence sitters and independents. It's just about people whose mind says, I just want to go about my day. Please leave me alone.
The problem is, let's face it, relationships and families have been shattered over the 2016 election. Again, if it was shattered that hard over an election, then things have been rotting away for almost 70 years to begin with. So 60 years. It took that election to be the final straw. The bipartisanship of the country just finally it broke under its own weight.
Mm-hmm.
So this. Even if we have video evidence of every single Democrat in the government right now raping children while doing every illegal drug, I'm pretty sure their entire voter base will say, "Oh, they didn't do anything wrong. We have to resist Trump."
Again,
by any means necessary.
Yeah, like I said, it's if the Democrats have the ability to use the media to persuade opinion. But again, if they get their backs broken in the next few years, then again, the media will become irrelevant as well.
It's not even just Democrats either. It's just the modern partisan politics era we found ourselves in, which has over time gotten worse and worse to the point where, when Trump said he could shoot a man in the middle of New York and no one would he wouldn't lose any supporters. I don't think thought he was being hyperbolic. It's actually at this point kind of actually true.
Well, again, you have politicians blatant advocating for the advancement of certain groups and the oppression of others, and it's just and nobody bats an eye anymore. And you could see that in a lot of the media right now. You have a lot of anti-white sentiment going on, and nobody bats an eye anymore because it's just so ingrained into the culture.
Whites are merely a social construct.
Yeah. So for some reason, only white people are social constructs. What is white? Let me autistically ask you that. What is white?
But okay, I think we've ringed this one for all it's worth. Let's talk about just the sheer. Speaking of the Democrats, just talk about the sheer crassness, boorishness, and utter just shittery that was their reaction to that train crash.
Oh god.
See, I heard about this, but I didn't hear a lot about it. I just heard there was
I
a train
specifically
crash.
ignored it.
Yeah. Okay, what I know about the train crash itself, there, for whatever reason, was a dump truck on the tracks. Don't know why. I haven't heard if it was a breakdown or if there was a failure with the signals.
I heard garbage truck.
Yeah,
Some
or dump
kind
truck,
of
garbage
large
truck, same thing.
vehicle.
Large utility vehicle.
Yeah, again, I'm a little bit more conspiratorial about this because I feel like there's a lot. I feel like there's a lot of.
It's not without its reason.
Everyone on that train had information that could lead to Hillary Clinton's arrest. So.
Yeah, I was
There was also a server with 30,000 emails from Hillary Clinton.
Okay.
On board that train.
It was confirmed. It was a garbage truck, not a dump truck.
Yeah,
Yep.
it had,
And to reiterate Spot's point, the driver has been apprehended. Was merely
He's
trying
not
to back
dead?
up over here. I was
Really, I
told
would
that I
rather
can
be
actually
Dick
park
Durbin.
here.
After all, Dick Durbin loves this, disgusting smells. I mean, he always spends his time shoved up fucking Schumer's ass. But yeah, no.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no. It's just at this point, I don't. I always like to think the world's a lot less interesting than we actually want it to be. But at the same time, there is a shot in the dark that this is actually something. So,
Well, I would also I would say things like this have been going on over the past several months. You got to think about stuff like the Las Vegas shooting, which we still know no real motive.
But actually, no. We know less than when we started.
Yeah, we know less than when we started. You have those couple of situations at the airports suddenly going dark for no reason, and you had airplanes an airplane leave. I think airplanes leave while all planes were supposed to be grounded at the time. You have Hillary Clinton's house in New York being set on fire. You have people tied to Hillary Clinton's email server and stuff like that dying, and tied to James Comey. Like 2 people like that died in plane crashes. I feel like there's a lot of cloak and dagger stuff.
and somewhere at the center of it all is Tom Cruise.
Somewhere.
Like I said, I was told I could park here.
But anyway, so for those that missed the story, so a few days ago, at the time of recording, an Amtrak train carrying dozens of Republican members of Congress and staff crashed into a garbage truck that was on the tracks for some reason, and it killed one person and injured others. A passenger of the garbage truck died from his injuries.
Somebody on it makes me think it was a breakdown or just a bad driver.
Their bad driver seems really suspect there.
Well, bad driver
excuse-
combined with the signal not working.
Well, the excuse I heard was that people were thinking that the train was supposed to be going at 30 miles an hour, but it was actually going at 60, and the truck tried to cross it or some shit. I'm like, wait a minute, that sounds like a bad time to begin with, no matter what.
To be fair, my community is a tiny one, by the way, less than 2,000 people. We actually did have a guy whose car broke down on the tracks and got smashed to pieces.
Yeah, that
It happens.
Yeah,
It
it's
does
rare that
actually
happens,
happen,
yeah.
guys.
So
It does happen. But
So ignoring the actual circumstances of the crash itself, the way the left has been treating this crash is a whole nother fucking level.
Oh yeah.
like
Fucking-
assholes.
Do it, Spot. Do it.
Well,
That's
for,
the-
as an example, we have the walking. I swear to God, if he ages any further, he's gonna look like the fucking Crypt Keeper. Stephen King calling the train crash karma.
God damn it.
That's about as shitty of a thing to say as reading a Stephen King novel. So make it that way, Will.
Yeah, no kidding.
The exact quote, the exact tweet is a trainload of Republicans on their way to a pricey retreat hits a garbage truck. My friend Russ calls that karma.
I'm glad I don't read these fucking books.
He
I'd
has
rather
friends.
honestly, I'd rather watch it than listen to it over there. And I'm not talking the new it. I'm talking the old one.
I have seen the old days. It's not bad.
No, it is.
It's not that bad. Come on.
It really is, dude. I'm sorry. It honestly is.
It,
in my
it
opinion,
hasn't
at least.
aged well.
I like that. I like that version of Pennywise more than I do that.
I don't like
fucking
either
old
version.
motherfucker.
Clowns aren't really scary in fiction. They're only really scary in real life.
Yeah.
Remember the clowns last year, guys?
Yes.
Alright, so yeah, I mean that's not the only one. People were cracking jokes about it, and only a few of them had the class to draw it back and apologize after they found out someone died.
Yeah.
Imagine it was the other way around, guys. That Dems had been on the train.
It would have been a national tragedy, according
And
to CNN.
say, I know, well, he'd be accused of it anyway. I know, say Stephen Molyneux made a flippant comment.
Well, to be fair, it probably would be more accurate, but that is a double standard. So
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
to be fair, look, he'd at least have support in Dave Rubin, who'd just be like, I agree with that.
I had a Permian cold.
Regressive.
Regressive.
but yeah, it's just the whole reaction to it over just a stupid incident, which honestly I don't know what the hell happened. I don't think anybody completely knows what the hell happened yet. But either way, all we know is train hit dump truck. Someone is dead. And we have the left and leftists and globalists just going, ha ha, Republicans are hit garbage. I mean, how fucking juvenile and boorish can you get?
Well,
I mean,
again, remember that.
It all depends on the context of garbage. I mean, people are okay if they hit a dump truck, but I don't think they'd be happy if Donald Trump punched Rosie O'Donnell.
Oh.
And even though I don't know how old Rosie O'Donnell is, even though he's 7 years old, I bet Donald Trump could kick her ass.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
But again, you have to think back. Remember that attempted assassination at that baseball game? Like, how the reactions on that went? They were assholes back then, too. This is just to be expected at this point.
Yeah, this is...
Dude, they've been making... I don't know what essentially incitements to try and kill the president.
Yeah, pretty much.
All across media.
Actually,
been the platform since day one.
not just the president, but basically they're saying all Republicans have to die.
On all right-wing people.
Hashtag white genocide.
Hey. Shh. No, I don't want to be reminded of the
Why are you
dark times.
complaining? You are merely a social construct.
My borders, my choice.
No. What's a social construct is the fucking alphabet soup brigade. That's a social fucking construct.
And by that we mean the LGBTQAAIP number 2.
It's almost like George Lucas was naming another Imperial commander and slammed his fist onto the keyboard.
You know, well, I'm not even gonna throw. I'm not gonna give George Lucas. I'm not gonna throw that shade at him at this point. I might as well just go back with J.J. Abrams because those motherfuckers and.
Oh, he finally came up with an acronym his daughter could be proud of.
Well, I don't know if this is ever going to get back to JJ, but JJ, I got an acronym for your daughter. If this is what you wanted her to see, F you.
I was going to say BBC, but that works too.
Yeah, you've got to be careful with that word violence, Mark.
Well, in that case, I shall get a printout of my words, cover a baseball bat with them, and then I'll beat him to death with my words. That's the only way I can commit word violence.
Don't forget Wasp.
I was going to say, and they say
with that superior English blood.
But anyway, so yeah, I guess that's all we're getting out of this. We're gonna do a relevant topic for the day. So today, apparently, a new holiday was announced today that came out of fucking nowhere. Guys, apparently today is World Hijab Day.
I was going to say, just in time for Black History Month.
Apparently, yeah, February 1st has been declared World Hijab Day.
Day one of Black History Month. They couldn't make it any worse. Like, it's supposed to be a great month, right? Like, real talk. I don't think there's any problem with having Black History Month, unless you're not letting anyone else have a History Month. By the way, then there's a problem because that's inequality, people. But
yeah.
Well, the best part about
you know what? Here in America,
the best part about Black History Month is all the sales KFC has.
Fuck KFC, we go Popeyes.
But here's the thing. Popeyes is good chicken.
Bush does a pretty good job too.
Black history is tumultuous here in America. I think we can all agree on that, right?
Sure. Yeah.
It is definitely a piece of history.
Oh, certainly.
There is no doubt.
You know what? The month is fine. But you're just going to take it and then make it a bunch of moralizing bullshit in the new, postmodernist, regressive age. I had to use buzzwords, but hey, buzzwords. And then on top of that, you're going to add hijabs to the thing and just make it about Muslims too. You want Warhammer 40k to become a reality, don't you, motherfuckers?
Heretics!
We already have the God Emperor in place.
What is this heresy?
We just need him to pick his first Primarch. Who should be his first Primarch?
So anyway, back to the topic at hand. So apparently it has its own trending hashtag. Hashtag strong in hijab. So I'm going to quote a Breitbart article for this. As usual, this is a day which gives rise to the most sickening displays of virtue signaling. Privileged, middle-class, Western feminists are lining up to display their multicultural credentials by donning a hijab as a fashionable symbol of liberation, while completely dismissing anything coming out of Iran and other places in the Middle East where women are taking them off and risking death.
Every day is hijab day.
We need to follow the Canadians and, get upset when some little girl claims that her hijab is cut multiple times without somehow in any way injuring her head.
And we get emergency hijab kits.
Yep.
Emergency?
No, we need to make sure as a nation that we respect this holiday. Mandatory hijabs for everyone on National Hijab Day.
With American flag hijabs.
Only to be pulled off and then get slapped with them.
I was gonna say, can I take it and then use it to wipe my ass with, or?
Wouldn't be too much different than
your cultural sensitivity knows no bounds, AK.
Truly.
It does. It knows none. All hijabs must be made out of polyester. At least make sure it's a breathable fabric.
And say Pampers.
Yeah, Pampers. I like that. I like that a lot.
Well, here's the thing. At least Muslims got one thing right. All women are thoughts.
Yeah, this is true. We cannot deny this fact.
She breathe, she a thought.
I mean, come on. Come on, fellas.
Look at the anime chicks. Thank you very much. They don't breathe. They can't be thoughts.
We don't lewd the anime chicks. We don't lewd the dragon lollies. We don't lewd.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Don't forget Nazi lollies.
Have you not seen Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid? You don't lewd the dragon lolly.
Yes, you fucking lewd the dragon lolly.
You do not. You fucking take that back.
Yeah, no.
Here's
Here's the thing. All right, AK. Imagine everything good in the world Now imagine, now imagine in the form of a glass ball. Now imagine Spart taking that glass ball and firing out of a cannon. That's what he does.
Guys, this stream is now dripping with autism. It is just dripping with it.
Look, I'll just take my Nazi Hitler lolly and be gone. Thank you very much.
which has already been Rule 34. So we're stop.
Visa Mochi Yaskau. Something I don't fucking know. I don't speak Wii. I don't speak Nintendo.
But anyway, so that's a thing. So yeah, we have a fucking irony of irony. So they can't. So the liberals can't even separate brown people. They can't do it. They have to throw in the Muslim holiday at the beginning of Black History Month, like you said.
Are you saying we need to bring?
Remember that time they called Sikhs Muslims?
Which time?
Exactly.
Yes. I'm going to go with yes.
I think we're down to like the last 8
10
minutes.
minutes.
Or so.
10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we'll do a couple of quick throwouts then.
Cackle cringe. So,
kick or cringe time.
Yes.
So we're going to go down to the leftist utopia, Venezuela. So apparently, brace yourselves, gentlemen. Venezuela is going to launch a national cryptocurrency in the coming weeks.
Don't they already have the World of Warcraft gold?
Here you go, guys. There's the article.
The socialist regime will launch its own cryptocurrency in a bid to raise hard currency among an economic and humanitarian crisis that has brought the government to the brink of collapse.
Again, they're going to see a lot of competition with World of Warcraft.
Oh, it's better. You know what they're calling the coins?
What?
Petros.
Do you know what's missing? Each coin, they shouldn't have that symbol on it. It should have the visage of Speedy Gonzalez.
No, honestly, I'm still being smart and investing all of my stuff in Gopnik coin.
So yeah, it's just it's like, oh god, what? Okay, I want to say that petrodollars was the currency of 1984. Am I wrong, Block?
You're not wrong. No.
I mean,
petrodollar is a dollar backed by petrol.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're currently sitting in the petrodollar world right now.
I'm just saying. So, the communist dystopian future uses petrodollars. Here's Venezuela using a cryptocurrency literally called a petro.
But I mean, in all honesty, I really need to figure out this whole crypto trading thing.
Well, the thing is, it's just the.
Well, invest now, AK.
I'm just
it's
looking.
definitely cheaper than Bitcoin.
But I'm just looking at it. It's like, have we entered the realm of the onion? Are we living in the onion right now? We've
been living in the onion for years.
Well, the onion is reporting that. What was it? Oh god, let me pull it up really quick. I want to get it right the first time.
Because here we have. I swear to God, the left is using 1984 as a reference guide.
Here we go. This was put up by The Onion. FBI and warns Republican memo could undermine faith in massive, unaccountable government secret agencies. When did The Onion become an actual news source and not just a parody? When did this happen?
November 8th, 2016.
Thank you.
Like I said, it's just. I mean, technically, no, seriously, during the State of the Union address, we actually saw. Was it State of the Union or the RNC? Either way, but we have videos floating around the internet of projections of Trump speaking and people throwing shoes at it. So it's like, oh my god, we have a 3 minutes hate.
I was just going to mention that the fact that it's often used in the Arab world as the greatest insult, throwing your shoe.
No, but gentlemen, let's move on to some other. All right, so Keck or cringe on this one, boys.
Oh.
Petro.
Keck.
All right. I got one to bring to the table, Spart. You'll love that. I promise. You're gonna love this. It's great. All right.
I give you
Get
that.
this. All right. Do I have permission?
You do. Go for it.
In the new version of Monopoly, the game will encourage cheating through cheating cards and no designated banker.
What?
Oh.
Yup. As Insider reports, by the way, this is from Hank Berrien from Daily Wire. As Insider reports, the rules of the game will not change, but the cheat cards placed in the middle of the board will permit players to collect rent owed to another player and even steal money from the bank, which will be made easier because, unlike all previous versions, there's no designated banker. Jonathan Berkowitz, Senior Vice President at Hasbro Gaming, admitted players can control the bank on their turn and pass it to the next player when the turn is over, making it easier to pull off cheats.
Quick question, Eisen. Are all the token pieces little Ferengi?
Possibly. But to make matters worse, those who cheat successfully are rewarded, and those who are nabbed will be punished, sometimes by going to jail and wearing toy handcuffs.
Oh.
Nice. That's despicable, but I have...
Yeah, you get apprehended by the Irish copper. Oh, you're coming with me, you are.
Yeah, but at least you get to meet a leprechaun.
Okay, so I shall introduce techie cringe.
Okay.
We're going back to the drooling idiot of Joe Kennedy.
Speaking of Irish.
Oh God, my spine just fell out of my back.
Well,
trying to turn a Kennedy into a dark horse candidate.
It
gets better.
Competition now, Eisen.
So,
Bogdady.
apparently the Democratic Party is trying to back him as their front runner against Trump. But here we go. So apparently during that speech, he was trying to speak directly to Dreamers in Spanish.
Oh God.
God.
And apparently his Spanish was abysmal.
Imagine my shock.
I was like, it's not going to go well for him because he's a white male. The Democratic Party don't want white males.
No, they don't want Kennedy splaining.
No shit.
Yeah, you know somewhere though, just to increase his public appeal, they're working with Warner Brothers now to make an animation about him. I can think of it now. Joey and the Bog.
God, he's gonna...
They're Joey and the Bog. They're Joey and the Bog. Just think of it now, Blip. It'd be perfect. They can make more jokes about Al Gore being full of hot air.
Oh God, he's gonna turn into the Dems version of Jeb Bush.
Okay.
He is drool.
I'm convinced he is Jeb Bush. Wearing a skin suit.
I have, right, next, this is infuriating cringe, because this is just terrible. So, over in Northern Ireland.
Oh.
I'm already cringing.
For the St. Patrick's Day celebrations, the Irish flag has been banned in case it offends somebody.
How?
Because Northern Ireland is part of the UK.
However, it's not just the tricolor flag of Ireland. Anything representing Northern Ireland, Britain, or Ireland itself is banned from the parade.
Northern Ireland has effectively been turned into a kindergarten.
However, this will not tie in to the simultaneous festival in the same town over Ireland's language festival.
They're celebrating speaking potato?
Apparently. Well, no, they can't speak potato.
Bud, is that you?
Apparently they are banning the symbols of their nation in case it offends somebody on a day that celebrates their nation.
I'm offended by it, and I'm not even there.
Can you guys smell that?
It smells like the smell of cucking.
No, it smells like bullshit.
Yeah.
But you know, as someone who's part Irish, I am offended.
Oh, it got worse. Oh, it gets worse. I'm reading further down the article. So it is a St. Patrick's Day parade. They're banning the Irish flag, anything related to Northern Ireland and the British flag. They're banning the flag of St. Patrick himself.
Wow.
Whose idea was this? Who banned all this shit?
Somebody who's funded by
I
George
sense
Soros.
the hand of Soros.
The city and district council.
Hey, well, you know what? Fuck the city and district council or whatever city that is. I'm gonna take me and my potato cryptocurrency elsewhere.
No find a particularly appealing over here.
So yeah, so they're banning pretty much everything.
Oh my
The
god!
absolute state of Northern Ireland right now.
Apparently, there's a conservative council member who's going to be wearing the tricolor into the council chamber.
A tricolor?
Name so I can follow him on Twitter.
I mean, not the French tricolor, the Irish tricolor.
Okay.
The orange, wine, green.
Oh, yeah.
Derek Hussey?
Hussey?
Yep. Ulster Unionist councillor Derek Hussey told the Belfast Telegraph that it was counterintuitive to ban the tricolor while also celebrating the Irish language, the funding of which is a contentious issue in Northern Ireland.
Link his Twitter in the DMs.
I don't think he has one.
He just has a life.
So, yeah, that's just...
I think he's been arrested.
Thanks, Ireland.
Probably...
No. That's an article from 2 years ago.
Oh.
I just forgot that.
I was about to say, he didn't even try to teach his dog any new tricks.
That's Scotland.
You can't teach any dogs tricks.
Same diff. Look, if it's past the Atlantic, it's all just lesser. Tell me I'm wrong. And Blip remains speechless. I truly have made this establishment worse. I'm proud of myself.
No, I'm still trying to find this guy.
I submit what I have two more pieces of cringe I just want to throw out there before we end.
Go ahead.
New York State prisoners are to receive free tablet computers.
No. Fuck off.
And this is why I left New York.
And, I was going to say, like, they should keep that shit there. I don't, cut New York's funding. Fuck that shit.
And the purpose is to quote, and I quote here, to better prepare convicts for life after imprisonment.
You don't have to give them free
Yeah,
tablets.
dude, I
You can
mean,
just have them.
Days.
Think about it. You can sell crack and then also play Candy Crush. Think of the possibilities, guys.
Yeah, since you can't get into your supply of crack to be addicted to it, so you might as well become addicted to Candy Crush.
Right?
Well,
Though the tablets will not be connected to the internet, prisoners will still have access to educational content, ebooks, and music.
So basically, fermenting wine in a toilet.
Look, here's the difference. If it were Arizona, I'd be okay, because, the only books they can read are books by, actual military veterans. The educational material would be about, actually important shit. And the only music they'd be allowed to listen to would be Nickelback.
Oh, that's cruel. I like it.
It is, but it's perfect.
Like I said, I like it.
It's prison. What do you expect?
Now, for the possibly one of the most cringiest things I have seen so far. They are making a sequel to The Passion of the Christ.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
Okay. They are literally doing a joke made on Family Guy years ago, and actually running.
Yeah.
Fuck this.
We don't have Chris Tucker, though.
To be fair, Spot, it may not be as cringy as you think. It could be an awesome prelude to
The thing is,
to the Warhammer.
the guy that played Jesus in Mel Gibson's Wank Fest,
Mm-hmm.
he claims that Gibson is playing a sequel that will be the biggest film in history. It's that good.
You know what? My guy Mel, my boy Mel, I'm going to trust him on this one.
See, Smart, I disagree with you. In any other time, it could have been cringy. But now, it's
Deus
required
Volt.
viewing.
Deus Volt, motherfucker.
It's the call to arms. No, I vote to nominate that as Keck.
Yeah,
I call it cringe. Just
Keck.
because... Okay, admittedly, I call it cringe just because of my personal bias.
Of your anti-religious bias.
Yes.
But these are interesting times, Spot.
Although I will admit, if someone gets rid of the current chief replacement sitting in the Vatican,
Dude, it's gonna piss him off no end.
Well, again, if
That
somebody,
alone is worth.
if someone gets rid of the current chief replacement sitting in the Vatican and replaces him with one that actually cries Deus Vault,
I volunteer.
I was like, nope. Excuse me, I'm going to go convert to Catholicism. I am going on crusade.
Thank you for the nomination, Spark.
Smart. I just have a quick question for you. Do you at least acknowledge Jesus lived?
I acknowledge that a man named Jesus lived.
Good. That is fine. I don't want you to be.
Well, I was gonna say I can acknowledge that right now in that spirit because he comes from Mexico and we call him Jesus.
Shut the fuck up.
And 100,000 of them.
When we build the wall, we're gonna force you to live on the border, AK, and then we're gonna
That's
build
not
around your
that.
house.
I'm just saying the way Spartan phrased it was like, I believe a man named Jesus lived. I'm like, well, yeah, his name was Jesus and he lived across the border.
No, because here's the thing: is that the Amazing Atheist actually made it a big fucking deal that Jesus didn't exist, guys. And here's the thing.
What?
This
Really?
is, no, yeah, the guy's fucking insane. Because here's the thing: there is equal evidence of Jesus' existence as Socrates. These motherfuckers acknowledge Socrates' life, but
Wait,
some crazy
Socrates
atheists
existed?
don't acknowledge it. What?
Socrates existed?
I love
No
you,
crates. No crates.
but
exist.
all right. As far as this is concerned, it's a hard sell. I gotta go cringe just because this is literally something Family Guy made a joke about. So I'm fucking done.
No, it's only be cringe if Chris Tucker was in it. Chris Tucker's not in this. But
No.
Executive produced by J.J. Abrams.
Look,
no.
based on existing, from what I remember, and also we're about 5 minutes. Just to kind of
No,
put a final
executive
cap on
producer,
this.
Ryan
Final cap
Johnson.
on this. When it comes to the Jesus history, let my history autism flow, guys. There
We're
were
not
several.
going into a Jesus discussion for the closing
Not
point.
there
There were
Yeah.
several
Yeah,
recorded
let's say
men
that for
named
the
Jesus
podcast.
Yeah.
at the time. Okay, yeah, whatever. But okay, so we got to finish up really quick. So Spart, send us out.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Deplorable Batcave podcast with dripping with freshly baked autism as always. Reintroducing,
Going to eat your children.
and don't forget to pet your lobster. Introducing the panelists from my left to my right. Once again, we have Ice and Fire.
Hello, I am the Dr. Petersons.
Blippity blop.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all.
Seawall.
Have a good night, everyone, and remember, never show them your true autism power level.
AK-47 your face.
I hope you all have a good rest of your week and remember Deus Vault.
Beggar Hero.
Stay warm, my friends.
And our perpetual mute gimp. There we go.
Remember to wear your Jesus piece, guys. Remember to wear
Yes,
it.
indeed.
I
And I've been
agree
Spartacus
with that.
Ryuo, the host and ringmaster for this group of deplorables. Till next time.